think my ass is about to split. It's digging deep in my back door. My cheeks are gonna be so sore. All right. Okay, it's time to start this meeting.
Okay, stop the
It's
music.
uh,
Okay,
it's that time of whatever.
stop the
Stop the
music.
music.
What about some background music? It's
Oh,
You
all
turned
about
down
the
a little bit.
bone
no,
break creek,
no.
yeah, buddy, that's me. Boy jeans, hey bro, can you help me wiggle out of these
All
things?
right, let's
Let's
stop
stop
that
it
now.
now.
All right, fine.
Literally, I know I've said this. I literally lost $100,000 in a day.
Oh
$100,000 in a
no.
day on Nvidia last year, right after Juneteenth. They hit their high of 141, put $100,000 on 141 calls, and right off the bat lost like 40K. I literally, that was my second day trading live money, and I didn't know what to do.
Sheesh.
I was in shock, and I literally lost $100,000 in a day.
You went that big
That's a
on
tough
your
start.
Yeah,
second day of trading.
yeah. Well, the day before, because Juneteenth, there's no trading. The day before Juneteenth, in Jensen was talking to, I think it was either Dell or HP, and I was up 35K that day, and then I held, dropped down to three, and then ended up cashing out at like 15K on the day.
Like all Starfleet, you talk and you talk, but you have no gramba.
And now we return you to our regular scheduled program in progress.
Jamal said, I think we want to know, how do you decide to exit the trade? What factors are you monitoring? What makes you say that this is the right time to exit? That's Nadeem asked over
Okay. All
chat.
right. That's that's uh that's a more better question. Well,
Do you want to look at like today's chart?
no, whatever. He
No.
he's
Okay.
asking a generalist question, so I'll
Yeah,
respond in
yeah.
a generalist sort of way. If I get
Okay.
questions about this exact particular spot on the chart, like for example, if I get a question on the GEX today, I'll be like, "Oh shit, that shit didn't work today." Well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for your loss, you know. But when it comes to these generalist questions. Well, I mean, JK's response is kind of, that's definitely an element of the answer. And that is the way that I dismiss people in the
We took
Discord,
it down,
especially.
I had that say done, but the
Jeff, could you mute, please?
I'm muted.
And that is
All
the
right,
way
thank
that
you.
I dismiss people on the Discord when I'm not medicated. But but I mean, the real reason why I don't answer these questions in the Discord and because especially when I'm not medicated is because the answers are very long. It would involve me typing a lot, like I have to type an entire book, and then I have to think about it, and I have to think like, is this exactly the correct answer, or are they going to get like, is this answer open to misinterpretation, right? So there's all these considerations. And then, it's like Mark Twain said, don't have time to write a short letter. And so it takes up a lot of time because I don't got time because I'm trading during the day. But yeah, so to JK's point, part of it is your own personal emotional utility curve. But there are other factors, such as, for example, like if there's a really big lime green and the biggest positive Momo of the day, and I happen to be long, then yeah, I'm going to strongly consider exiting. If Gex is bearish, then I'm going to strongly consider exiting my long. If any bearish signals whatsoever pop up, if dark pools pop up above, I'm going to strongly consider getting out of my long. All of these factors, you got to weigh them, and it's all this inexact science. And then you got to hover over the dark pool to see how big it is. And you hover over the Momo bar to see how much dollars are going into that Momo bar. It's the same shit every time. I should just hire someone to just repeat these things over and over because I feel like I say this shit all the time. How can I keep on doing this with my life?
Someone else asked how to pick the best tickers from the dashboard. It's kind of vague. I guess on the dashboard, Tay, is there a specific top 10 list that you give preference to, like SC or
I like SC and I like Skew, and Skew is the new one for elite members, but
Mhm.
we're still working on that. I wouldn't rely on it too much right now, but the
Okay.
Skew, the Skew is really good.
All right, SE and skew, and we'll yeah, skew is sort of in alpha mode, so we'll talk more
But
about it as we.
the Martian NOFA is good too. If you notice, like the positive Martian NOFAs are always like green in price, and the negative ones are almost always red in price.
Mhm.
So there's definitely a correlation there between the NOFA and the price.
Yeah. So the first column there, top 10
Yeah,
positive and negative NOFA.
yeah.
Okay, cool.
Comment was I appreciate what you guys are trying to do here, and I realize it's hard, and I applaud your efforts. The question similar to another one, the DPs from one day, so especially towards the end of a day, do they maintain an impact on the following day?
Are you talking about like
I
these right
think
here?
I think
Yes.
Zeta thinks that they do or something. I'm not sure, but I don't I never look at the following day based on those things.
Zeta's in here. You got any thoughts, Zeta?
Hey guys.
Hi.
That's a good question. I don't I just noticed them like yesterday. It seemed like it was almost forming like some resistance. Um, we don't have like the dark flow data carryover, so you can't look at it. But you would have noticed like it was like 43.38 or something. And then you would notice today they were actually coming in at the same area. Um, so maybe if you look at the dark flow for today,
So 43.4 right here, and then let's see.
and then if you look today, and if you look, you can look at dark flow,
Yeah. Oh, yeah, dark flow, that's true. I actually never look at dark flow, so I never think about it.
and then just click on SPY, the third one. Yeah, and then scroll down a little bit so you can see like the beginning of the day. For like the largest one, you have like an 80 at 10:56.
1056
Well,
right here.
yeah, so you'll notice like that 43.38. It kind of kept popping up. But that also is like a little misleading because that's also, I think, the close of the previous day, or around where the close was. But I just thought it was interesting. So sometimes it means things, sometimes it doesn't. I thought it was interesting that we kind of every time we'd go above yesterday, we kind of would come back down. There was a lot of resistance. And then today, same thing happened. And then we broke down. And then we knew it was a downtrend day. So it's kind of easy to just play that.
I felt like today was a pretty easy trading day. Like I didn't even want to trade today and I still made 8K or 7,500 because I did a shitty trade in Power Hour. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean I never even look at this dark flow page at all. So if you wanna use dark pools to predict stuff, then listen to what Zeta has to say, because I really have no idea. Um I just I make enough money trading intraday that I don't really need to predict the next day.
Yeah, I think we made this page just for Zeta, I think.
No, we made it for
Or we made it for who?
political nightmare.
Oh,
James
political nightmare.
raising
Right,
his
right, right.
hand. Let's talk to
Oh,
James.
hi, James. Go
Hi, how are
ahead.
you?
Hi,
Thank you for
good.
taking my
Q&A
question.
is pretty
I'm a
rough.
Of
new
course.
member. I'm a new
Mhm.
member. Introductory period ends in 2 days, so thank you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, a couple quick questions. So I'm a
Perfect. This
ES
is the guy
futures.
we should have put in the front. You unorganized
Okay,
host.
just let him talk.
Yeah, sorry, I'm an ES futures trader. The tool's been absolutely incredible for my trading the last 2 weeks. So
Hey.
thank you for
Thank
creating
you.
it, making it available. I have two questions. One, SPX. I mostly trade futures and then SPX 0DTE. Am I missing the ticker somewhere or is it not available?
Oh,
Is it on the roadmap?
you just gotta use SPY and Ultraflow. Sorry.
Okay. Second question. I didn't see it in the kind of the new user start guide, but the dark orange and dark yellow on the NOF, what do those represent? Are those something I should be paying attention to?
You're talking about gold and bronze sweeps, I
Correct.
believe.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're just sweep orders in the options market. So
Okay.
they're just hitting multiple exchanges simultaneously to try to execute the order quickly.
Perfect. That helps. Thank you.
And the yellow is bullish and the bronze is bearish, but they're not they're I found them to not be as predictive as I mean, they're definitely something to notice, but
They're number 8 on the indicators of importance list.
Yeah.
yeah, definitely refer to that list, Sarah. Yeah, pull up that list so that it could just be on the screen.
I'm not. Yeah, there it is. Okay.
There we go.
Thanks, Ben.
Yeah,
Oh,
very good, but
places
love the
chat.
tool. I mean, even I think in the beginning of your call, you were talking about how today the Gex didn't work. But I think that if you understood how it was working, I mean, there was a phenomenal short, like in the midday as the red Gex went down, right? So
Yeah, I mean, if you want to explain why the red gex going down caused it to go down, I'm all ears.
I mean, I think that um I don't know. I mean,
You
I
mean
don't know how
the
your tool works, but
green line down, maybe?
yeah, sorry, the green line down.
Oh,
Yeah.
the green line.
Yeah.
Sorry, the green line down.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
That
So you
that makes
started right
sense.
here.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
The green line.
Load Bay is getting upvoted. He's asking, it would be great if you can discuss how you traded SPY today and bring up the chart and explain it. And actually, this is a question I had too. Like, it looked like we were going to break orb. I actually got burned a little bit, was able to break even after a shorten and then chickening out at the first green bar.
Okay. I'm gonna load up SPY here on my desktop. I'm only using my laptop because my headphones are kind of annoying. So SPY August 19th, right?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, there's no indication whatsoever that we're gonna have an opening range breakout because I mean we do break out of the 30-minute range pretty fast.
But then it
Like
doesn't sustain.
yeah, that's only one bar and it's not an hourly orb. I mean like the price action is looking strong, but I mean that's happening on the back of positive Momo flow, which as you guys know is bearish. Like if you see price going up with Momo flow going down, that would be much better. And we've actually seen that happen before. We've seen it happen in the past. Um, and and I don't know. I recall recently I said that I called an uptrend day in the Discord because we were getting that Momo selling in addition to the price going up. But
It's sort of
today,
access fuel. Yeah.
yeah, but today, other than Gex being retarded in the morning, we have like I mean it's very predictive. Like the biggest Momo selling bar of the day was at the open, and that led to an immediate rally. Sarah, you're controlling the screen, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. And then the Momo buying bar, that was the biggest bar of the day at the time. That one, yeah, it leads to one red bar right after. So again, these are leading indicators. Then the Momo bar after that, it's a bearish bar, and then it leads to a red bar after that, and so on and so forth. Like every single relatively large Momo bar was predictive today. Sarah, if you want to look at the next Momo selling bar, it's kind of small compared to the big one, but no, not, yeah, that one right there. Yeah. Then it leads to a green bar right after, right? And that green bar was, it happened with a Momo buying bar, which means that we're going to go down on the next candle. And this is also happening with a fast churn because it's in the morning. And the morning is when the flow is turning quickly. Whereas in the afternoon, you get like you get some time dilation where a lot of you need a longer accumulation of Momo in one direction or the other before it gets reversed.
Yeah, and like, the list says price action is the most important. The 1 hour range is from here to here. We never get a sustained breakout to the upside. We only get a sustained breakdown.
Yeah, I'll talk about my trades today since I made money today. So the first thing I mean, I kind of just rolled out of bed, and unfortunately, I didn't catch those Gex moves. But also, unfortunately, I didn't catch the morning bar either. So again, this is me making $8,000, not really putting in a lot of effort, you know. I was like busy doing other stuff today. I had like 3 interviews with Filipinos that I'm trying to hire to replace me, or at least answer the customer support. people so that sensitive people won't be hurt.
Yeah.
So
So what
anyway,
time did you wake up? Like right around.
I woke up like kind of like right before the breakdown.
Hmm.
And right at that moment I didn't really notice anything other than Gex being wrong. And then at the 1050 bar, we started to test orb. And I'm like, oh, this is looking kind of dangerous. And it also is in line with my, what is it, 632 target from my official T-Rex. And so
Hmm.
I'm having this like overall kind of contextual view of the market too at the same time, which is that, well, um, puts are really cheap these days. VIX is really low, but VVIX is high. So there's an increasing spread between VVIX and VIX, and it's just all the investment banks, they're putting out these notes to their clients saying like buy insurance, puts are cheap, you know. And when enough people buy that insurance, then it starts to have some effect. But but yeah, and then there's like the bear seasonality going into September. And like just generally speaking, I'm not a fan of being very long, you know? And
Hmm.
that's probably why Dave lost money today because he just likes to hold things. So so I'm not, I'm not long biased to say the least. And so when I saw that we were starting to break down out of the opening range, I thought, okay, this could turn into something. And I waited a couple bars, and then that dark pool popped up, and that dark pool popped up right with that red bar, and then I called out in the Discord in the day trade. I said orb, and after that, from that point on, I started thinking about opportunities for me to go short. But unfortunately, I'm not going to short on Momo selling because that's not in line with what I like to take trades when the stars are aligned, right? So I saw the two dark pools and I thought, oh, okay, this is getting interesting, and it's also aligned with the breakdown. And we also have very little Momo selling to support this as well. So it's not like the Spartans are getting exhausted here. These are very tiny Momo candles. In fact, Sarah, could you make the chart smaller so the end of day candle is covered so that the scaling is fixed?
End of day candle. You want me to like that?
Yeah. Yeah. So as you guys can see, like while while the chart while price was breaking down out of the opening range, there wasn't, I mean, there was Momo selling, but there wasn't a lot of Momo selling. It was very tepid Momo selling. Now it would be very different if it was breaking down, but there were these huge Momo bars. Because I mean, like that breakdown bar, it's a big red bar, as you can see. It's like one of the biggest, if not the biggest red bar of the day. No, it's not as big as the well, it's about as big. So it's kind of tied for being one of the biggest red bars of the day. And at the same time, it's being driven by such a tiny amount of Momo selling. So this is not a case of the Spartans being exhausted. This is a case of the Spartans just breathing on the price and the price just collapsing because there's no support. And that's exactly the kind of environment where you feel comfortable taking a short. At the same time, I'm not going to short on a bar that is literally Momo selling. So I decided to wait until a Momo buying bar. So hover over the next Momo buying bar. Yeah, that one. Nope, the one right after it. Sarah,
Oh,
you
it's
got to
so
cover
tiny.
you got to cover the thing if you want to see the bars.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thought it was covered.
I also find setting SFMF same scale off allows it to scale. Oh, you already have it set. Yeah, I see that now.
So here,
Yeah.
normal buying.
So yeah, I did I enter there? I don't know. I think I entered a small position there, and then I just waited, and then there wasn't really any flow until but there was no flow in price going up, and it doesn't like we're still not recapturing the opening range. And a lot of times on downtrend days, what you'll see is see a breakdown opening range, kind of a return test to the opening range, and then a continuation of the downtrend. And this is why on the list that we show in how to use BigShort for new users, the number one first indicator to look at is price action. So you do need to have a fundamental basis of understanding of price action, including opening range breakdowns and what a downtrend day looks like. And so I have all this context in my head, and I wasn't really in a big position at that time. And I don't remember if I got out on that red bar. I might have gotten out of some at that red bar. No, the one to the right. Yeah, that one. Yeah, I might have gotten out a little bit there once I saw the flow kind of drying up. But but then there was another dark pool afterwards, and I noticed that we're not like recapturing the put wall range either. We're not, which happens to be exactly at the opening range level as well. Um, and then so I don't know. I mean, like price action was bearish, DPs were above, and uh, and not the flow was certainly not bullish or anything. And and yeah, like Alan said just now, we had some NOF diamonds as well popping up with the put buying and the call selling. And so I don't, I took the short and I announced it in the Discord. I said that I warned everybody, do not go long today. I warned pretty early on in the day to not go long. And as long as you listened to my advice and you didn't go long, I mean, it's pretty hard not to lose money, right? I mean, not to make money. Um, and then we got even more dark pools later. So I shorted some more, I scalped some more. And especially that first bounce to the EMA 20 touch in the middle of the Bollinger Band. Yeah, that was supported by more dark pools above and and uh and yeah, just when there's a Momo buying bar and the price action is looking weak and there's DPs above, then it's a pretty easy short. And in addition to that, I was also calling out the sim search charts in the day trade channel, which JC usually does, but today I decided to call attention to sim search myself.
Do you want me to
And
switch to it?
excuse me?
Do you want me to switch to it?
Yeah, sure. I mean, like in the Discord, I we had the screenshots of the sim search, and the sim search was predicting a downtrend day too. But importantly, sim search is a timing.
Actually, it's after hours, but yeah.
Wait, but you have to click the thing, Sarah, to see the whole thing. It's highlighted next to the magnifying glass. Next to the magnifying glass. Yep, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, like sim search was predicting a downtrend day, and um, sim search. I don't rely on it for price levels, but I do rely on it for inflection times. So the time of your entry is very important because you don't want to like enter puts and then just hang out for a little bit, burning theta with your butthole clenched. That's very annoying to do. So I called it out in the Discord. I said something like 10 minutes from now, if we get some green, then you should short more. And then so I did another scalp at that point, which some people followed me on. And yeah, and those were pretty much my trades today. It was like all on the short side because I told people not to go long.
Yeah, there's a link to that specific Discord moment in the Zoom chat right now. So somebody else had a question on how we did the same scale. How did we got the SFMF same scale scaling? Sarah, you know how to get to that setting? So here under that chart, yeah, check that, and then that way you can get nice larger bars to look at when there's something like that huge 200 million, SF thing right there.
I cut it off. Okay, cool. Thanks, Jay.
Yeah. I think people like those kinds of things when I walk them through the day, especially on days when I make money, they want to know how I did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, any
Yeah.
other questions or I don't see any in the Zoom chat. Anyone want to speak a question?
I mean, I've got some, but I feel bad asking it because, I'm up here up front.
Alan said, can you go to yesterday and what you saw? It was super rangy.
Yesterday? I don't think I traded yesterday. But if I recall, it's pretty flat, right? Yeah, it looks
Oh, very
basically like
rangy.
a, yeah,
Just
it's
trade the
basically
bing bongs.
it's just a
Oh, that
horizontal line. So, yeah, there's no nothing. I mean, like we do have, the Momo still being kind of predictive as usual for the oscillations, but I I mean, I was happy I didn't trade yesterday. Those are the days where you kind of don't want to trade. And look how tiny the flow is too. They're like 27 million. Whereas today, I think we had like a $100 million flow at one point, something like that. So just don't trade on those days. Let the fish come to you.
Let
question
the
on
fish.
finding this or finding days like this. I think this is one of the questions in the Excel spreadsheet. So are these days basically because orb was never found? And so you're just like, no, I'm not gonna trade this because there's no definitive direction.
Uh, Let me see, 15, 30, 45, 1 hour. Yeah, there's no opening range breakout in either direction. But more so than that, it's a horizontal line. It's not,
Hmm.
it's like it's not even moving. So forget having an orb. Like if we were moving a lot and it was a range day with no orb, I would still be able to trade that because at least we have some movement, right? But on a day like this, it's like an untradeable range day. You cannot trade a range day like this because it's just too tight. I mean, you can, but like you're just making pennies.
Hmm.
Okay. Any other questions, Ben or the group?
It's not worth the risk to trade a day like this. You want to trade a day where there's a lot of blood on the streets, one way or the other.
Hmm.
And which day was this, guys?
Yesterday.
This was yesterday. Okay, yeah, yesterday was
August
done.
19th.
So I've got a question, if I may.
Yeah.
Sure.
Um, you know, first off, I want to say the community's great. I mean, Ben and Sarah and other folks, very, very helpful. And it's a good team learning environment out there. So thank you very much to the senior users. Um, with the green, like I know there's some combos that Tay that you speak to, like green candle and pink bar, or what are some of the notable candle bar combinations that we should be looking for?
Well, when the Momo is pushing in one direction, but the price is going in the other direction, then that's very noteworthy.
So
Um,
definitely Momo, yep.
or we have
No, thank you.
Hey, JP, could you mute?
JP, yeah. Sorry. Screen sharing, so I can't mute. There we go.
yeah. So another is if we have big flow leading to big stretched price movements as well, that's that's sometimes indicative of exhaustion. Yeah. But I mean, like you just take what you know about price action from the, traditional candlestick charting or whatever it is you people do. And then you add in you add in the flows and it becomes much better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
Does that
thank you.
does that answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
You normally do like day trades and stuff like that. What about like swing trades? I know that you do like some put selling sometimes and stuff like that. But do you have any advice on when or how to enter swing trades? You pay attention to like this net option flow or
Specifically using the BS software, how do you enter swing trades?
yeah.
Uh, I guess there's short exempt, there's seasonality, and there's skew. Skew is going to be good for swing trades.
Okay.
And when we get a lot of like honey badger signals in a row, like we did recently, then that's indicative of some longer term bullishness.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Oh, I want to try his here. So Sarah, show him the squeeze meter.
The squeeze meter?
That's the one for elite members, isn't it?
Yeah, so I
Oh,
want to
okay.
try. So this is what we mean when we say badgerish, weak honey badger day, strong honey badger
Yeah.
day.
Hmm.
So if you see us talking about that in the Discord, this is what we're
Right.
talking.
Yeah,
Right. Okay.
no badger.
No badger.
Yeah, no badger today.
Okay.
It would be
Gotcha.
embarrassing if today was a badgerish day because it's a downtrend day.
Second will be right up.
It's Karthik here. I had a question. So I
Yeah.
think Tay, you probably already answered this on a daily basis that you don't look to predict the next day. But could we apply the flow logic when looking at the daily chart? So if you go to SPY as an example,
Like, especially
for
like the
today,
if it's large enough, then it will
yeah,
carry over into the next day. Like extremely large, like options flow, like net options flow spikes and stuff. They are
uh-huh.
predicted for multi-day rallies for sure.
They are predictive, right? Yeah, because I think if you look at the SPY, I think Momos have been buying hand over fist for the last several weeks. And I think today we saw a divergence where Momo continued to buy on a daily basis at the end of day today. So this could, to your point, continue to drive more negative bias in the market. I'm talking about daily, Sarah. If you go to daily
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
look at all the trends, both Smart Flow, Momo Flow have been consistently buying. And then now you start to see maybe a bit of Momo continuing to buy, but Smart's not as much.
Yeah, this is harder for me to predict than the other stuff. But I mean like if especially if you use classic NOF in the settings and like I find that for individual stocks that tends to be more predictive
More
and
predictive. I remember MSTR, you pointing to that last year in November when
like
you
for example
predicted the exact top.
look at SPY on classic NOF, right? We have that big NOF spike, the blue one on the
Mm,
screen right there, Sarah. Yeah, and then we have a big rally after that, right? So like I think that I think that because this is not my area of expertise because I don't do a lot of swing trading, but I do notice um, multi-day effects when the flows are really large. Um, and uh, and again, this is very different from going off of just the 5 minutes at the end of a day, right? We're talking about the daily candles, and that's the summation of the flows of the entire day. And so if you're going to be swing trading, then don't look at a 5 minute snapshot. Look at the daily bars like you're doing.
okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Someone said, is classic NOF better for day trading? I use Martian NOF for day trading.
I use Martian NOF for day trading too, but I sometimes wonder what I'm missing out on. But but ever since I switched to Martian, I don't know, I have to run some back tests on it. It's on my plate among all kinds of other stuff to do. But but yeah.
Any other questions?
Oh, sorry, one more question. So on this
Yeah.
chart, as the net option flow continues to trend down, is there anything negative or is there any predictive that we can also assume like consistently over the last 4, 6 weeks, it's been trending down?
Yeah, I mean
Is
all
it getting
it just means that on balance, people are buying more puts and selling more calls. And that doesn't necessarily mean the market is going to go down, but it does add some pressure to the market. Um, but it doesn't like, for example, like look how the net option, the NOFA line was going down throughout this entire rally, right? That was from like people like me and Hunter buying puts just to like have a piss contest. But like that doesn't mean that the market's going to go up. It just means that people are betting. I mean, it doesn't mean the market's going to go down. It just means that people are betting that the market will go down. Whether or not the market actually goes down is correlated, but not perfectly correlated with how people bet.
okay? Understood.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the question. Any other questions? Oh, hello.
Hey,
Hi.
I do actually have a question. Yeah, I popped it in the message earlier. And if I missed this on like the documentation, my apologies. Um, going to like the Badger or whatever is, X, Y, Z, um, predictable or whatever. If we're Badger 3, it's 70% chance of, return from a low to like yesterday's close. What stuff on here do you have actually back tested?
I think
So that you can say that if this
Badger and
happens,
above,
sorry, go ahead.
Badger and above is 90%.
Okay. Okay.
Actually, I think it's weak Badger and above is 90%. I'm not sure. It's either weak Badger or Badger, but one of them and above is 90%.
And that's back tested.
Yeah. And
Okay, cool.
as far as other back tests, like, yeah, we try to run a lot of back tests, but back testing is very it's very difficult because it's not like one of those phony like price only back tests. Um, like we have to like sort of commingle a lot of data sources together. Like for example, like there's back tests where, like for example, I have a manipulation strategy where I trade the manipulation bars after after an earnings announcement, and I trade that pretty frequently. And we did backtest that, and we did find some evidence of predictiveness in that. And we have like the Sharpe ratio and the Sortino ratio and everything in the spreadsheet. But in practice, like we basically have to assemble a list of symbols and then their earnings dates. And um, there is some selection bias because we basically like how do you define what stocks are hot? What stocks are like heavily traded? You can't just go based on the S&P 500 because there are some S&P 500 stocks that are very uh very boring and nobody even knows about them, right? And then there's some stocks outside of the S&P 500 which are very hot and constantly traded. And then so there's some element of arbitrariness in measuring like the amount of mind space real estate taken up by some of these stocks that we backtest. And so it's variables like that, which they're kind of qualitative variables, which are harder to define in rigid terms. And that's what makes backtesting difficult. Hello?
Okay, yeah, no, I was just wondering what you had actually back tested. But I don't mean to make it sound like it's super easy. What about like this example here where
We
we have
backtest a
this
lot. To answer your question, we backtest a lot of stuff,
uh,
but there's lies, damn lies, and statistics. And if I'm going to put out a statistic, I want it to be something that I could really stand by because I don't want to sell any snake oil.
Sure, yeah, okay, great.
Cool. Any other questions? Let's see, I'm checking the.
Oh, and Ryan, sim search by definition is a backtest, right? It's just,
Yeah,
yeah, it's like literally just looking at past days with the highest correlation to it. So, I mean, that's technically
is that just price action correlation? Because like today, for instance, right, it
only price
basically
action.
predicted the market would collapse.
It's only price action, not flows.
Okay.
And pretty low on that list that I had Sarah pull up of indicators that you should pay attention to. But as I said previously, the timing, inflection point stuff, it's what I use sim search for. And Alan, to answer your question, I did answer your question at the beginning of the Zoom call while you're walking your dog.
Walking the dog. Okay. So lots of enthusiasm for you doing a live trading session. We can talk about logistics of that later. Any other questions? Nope. Everyone understands
I was
BigShort
just
completely?
I was just say just a thought, right? Because we have like the list of like here are the things to look at.
Mhm.
Um, is there some way we can start to bring those together so that it's somehow easier? I mean, I know that sounds kind of stupid, but if you're trying to do more than just trade SPY, it becomes like a lot trying to sort of bounce between the different items and sort of have a plan.
Yeah, you're
I
talking
don't know if
about
anyone kind of
you're talking
has
about
already solved that.
you're talking about like a big ass regression where I just do full self-driving, right?
Uh, Not really. I mean, it's just something like other people have like strategies of how they're using Big Short, in their flows and stuff. Because I do find that it does end up taking a lot of time um, as I'm doing all the different things.
Oh yeah, yeah. My style of trading, it's very time consuming, and that's why I like to go on vacation sometimes.
Mhm. Alan asks, what's the difference between MOF and NOF? Martian
Uh,
NOF.
Martian NOF is just something that one of our users, Martian, created, and we find that it's more correlated with the price movements of the underlying, and because of that greater correlation, we we are using it. But but whereas the classic net option flow includes the entirety of option trades, including the premium sweeps, and uh, and so we don't yet know what we're losing when we exclude those trades, but we're just going off of Martian NOF because it seems better. It seems more correlated on the surface.
I have one quick question. It's JC. Um, so on Gex on SPY, price action happening above or below zero gamma when it moves the zero gamma. Do you think there a difference when the price action is above or below? Because you said before that like when it goes up, your theory was that that's negative, it's going to be bearish. But does it matter if the price action is above or below it at the time?
Above or below what?
Above or below zero gamma flip.
Oh, I don't know
Again,
anything about zero gamma flip.
okay. But you had just said before that like you're like my theory is that if when it goes up it's bearish, and which seemed to be right, but I couldn't tell if the
Yeah.
price action being above or below had any effect.
Oh yeah, that I haven't really looked closely at it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got a lot of back tests. Or I got a lot of charts to look at.
Yeah, I mean, if you figure it out, please let me know because
Yeah.
I know you're a good faith user. So
Maybe I will just correlate some data and just present it, say this percentage is above and this is below, and see what happens.
yeah.
Okay.
All right. Feel free to jump on in, guys. Any questions in the chat or with your voices?
I had a
This was
question.
boring.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So here, maybe kind of a silly question, but what's your kind of trade setup, Tay? Like, do you have like two monitors, have like the Big Short open and then your IBKR thing open, or do you have like multiple things that you're looking at, or just like the Big Short and like your IBKR screen?
Yeah, just those two, just Big Short, multiple Big Short windows, and I try. Oh, and I guess sometimes I have the Discord open. Sometimes I have like a browser window open,
Yeah.
and it's like, reading some articles or stuff while I'm trading. But yeah, the trade execution window, I try to keep it kind of small. The charts, I try to have as many up as possible, which,
Yeah.
for me is only like three at most. At most, I think I can only track like at most three charts at a time, maybe four at most if I'm feeling uh um extra what's the word I'm thinking of, Sarah? Extra
Extra
not
ambitious?
ambitious, yes.
Ambitious. Yeah.
Extra ambitious. Yeah. Um But but yeah, just I try to keep it simple. I have a pretty big monitor.
Yeah,
And he's got the ultra wide.
Yeah.
the Ultra, and I've got two curved ones, and then like one for my Discord that's like sideways.
Oh, cute.
But
Hey Sarah, you got a comment from Alan that says more Sarah, less Ben. So I guess
We
the one thing that
try.
made this Q&A bad was Ben was hosting it.
I
So
think
Ben,
just
you're fired.
I think just the format of the of no one talking and then the questions being on that spreadsheet that was hard to track. It just like the format wasn't quite right. But
Yeah, yeah.
you tried. Well, now we know,
This
now we
feels more
know.
podcasty.
Yeah, yeah, a little more
Yeah,
ch
and you
a
and
little
I
more
have a
chit
better
chat.
rapport. I don't have any rapport with people who just drone on. And I
Uh,
know it's not cool to hate white people anymore. Let's hate black people instead. But you know what?
should
I'm just saying it how it is.
don't make me edit so much. I'm just not gonna post this. I feel like this is a
Oh,
bad
don't
this is a bad thing.
edit
Q&A
that.
anyway.
That's just social commentary.
But it's not.
I think those meds are working too good.
Yeah, I know. You gotta relax. Okay, set them.
Just
I
trying
was
to.
the one wishing for a liquidity filter for the dashboard stuff. Some of these are so thin, I think it would be nice to see ones that are getting more volume.
Which dashboard?
Which dashboard set them? If you wouldn't mind chatting, that would be faster.
And by the way, the dashboards are loading extra slow right now, and I brought it up to Andrew, and he's going to fix it. But I mean, it just takes an extra like couple seconds to load the dashboard than before. It's annoying to me. But yes, which top 10 do you want to put a liquidity filter on?
Oh, you said all of them, but especially manipulation.
Oh, I don't use manipulation,
Yeah, I'm
but that would be
interested that.
almost the only one that doesn't have it built in. Only I think manipulation and skew don't have it built in, but SmartFlow, MomoFlow, and the NOFAs, it's built in because by definition, they track the amount of like those flow indicators.
Mhm.
They're represented in dollar terms. So with on today we have Palantir negative 38 million. That's negative 38 million dollars. And INTC that's positive 8.8 million dollars for Martian NOFA. It sounds small, but it's only Martian. It's not classic NOFA, which is the entire options market. But yeah, so the liquidity filters, they are built in except for manipulation and skew.
Well, there you go. Next question. Should we trade looking at dark green and red smart flow bars, or should we just ignore those and focus more on the lime and pink bars?
Sorry, what was the first part?
Should we trade looking at the dark green and red smart flow bars, or should we
Okay,
just
load
ignore
up load
those?
up the list, Sarah. Load up the list.
Oh God.
So as you guys can see, this list, which we should really paste in the Discord every day, there's no smart flow on this list. And I am medicated right now, so this is not annoying to me.
Oh, Zeta wrote a nice little easy beginner guide. Cute. Thanks, Zeta. Zeta's the best. All
Yeah, I
right.
really appreciate the users that have been with us for like literally since 2 years ago,
I know.
They're the validation that like, oh my gosh, like we're actually helping people.
Yeah.
So many people that just come into the door and then, they either leave or they just complain and they stick around complaining or something. But there's a few users where they just get it and they've made Mondo bucks over the past, and I've seen them become better traders over the past couple of years, and I really appreciate that. And I don't think I deserve a lot of credit for it because obviously the onboarding materials suck. So so it's people who are determined enough to just figure out the software and try to recognize the patterns on their own and see if there's some value here. Because I mean, like if you think about it conceptually, all the other candlestick charts, they don't have a direction to the volume, right? Whereas we
Mhm.
have an actual direction, and not just that, we have the direction segmented by Smart and Momo and options and dark pools and and now we have the Gex too. And I'm telling you, like this really is a better a better visualization of the data, and it's just plainly more data than you can get anywhere else, like more real-time data than you can get anywhere else. Like I know some people on Reddit are complaining that other services offer more data, but I really don't think so. I don't think, I mean, I think they might offer more like total quantity of data, but I think like pound for pound, BigShort offers the best value real-time data that you can get. And I don't understand how anyone can day trade without BigShort. And I also don't think that if you took any successful day trader who regularly makes money, and then they showed us they showed them our product, I think they would like it. I don't think there's anyone who actually successfully makes money purely technical analysis day trading. I don't think that they're going to look at the product and be like, oh, this doesn't add value to my life.
Mhm.
So a lot of the people complaining, these are people who don't make money trading or who are new to trading. But people who actually do trade in a short time frame, they they will recognize the value of what we have here. I
Yeah.
am in such a good mood. I'm like,
Can,
Good.
can I ask something else?
Yeah.
About and I'd like to say also, I'm a self-proclaimed idiot, and it has taken me some time to make my own sense of the Big Short data, but it is helping me for sure. I am
Yay.
starting to make sense of it. I'm just noticing you've probably answered this already, but I see an elite yearly and a pro yearly that are currently at the same price. Is that something that's in development?
oh, that's something that we've been selling.
Oh,
But you were actually politically activist against it.
yes. Well, I would take exception with that, but is there
You were rioting in the streets.
simply with the way it was held. Again, as I've said, I think you're a genius, which again, I don't give you credit for. The universe gave you a genius mind, which I
Wow.
very much appreciate. But is there a difference then between the elite and the pro?
You know,
The same
I
price.
think my most recent instruction to Andrew was to just combine it into one and get rid of the difference. But I think the difference is that if you're a pro, we need to report you as a pro user to the
Oh,
data providers, because the data providers, I don't know,
Charge us more.
I
they
get
charge
you.
us more for pro users.
I
So
see.
if you want us to have smaller profit margins, then definitely sign up for the. No, I shouldn't say that. If you are a pro user, if you are a Wall Street institutional trader, then absolutely do not skirt the law and buy a pro membership. But you know, it's the same feature set as the elite membership. Elite is just basically pro for the non-pros.
I understand. I got it. Thank you.
Any other questions? Come one, come all. Okay, I'm looking at the chat now. Oh, someone asked, what's the best way to use Big Short indicator to scalp a few cents?
Just find a big ass just okay, if all you want to do is scalp a few cents with like the least amount of risk possible, just sit there staring at the computer screen all day and wait for a Momo bar to be a $100 million Momo bar, and then just bet in the opposite direction of that Momo bar for, you know, anywhere from 1 to 10 minutes, 1 to 15 minutes or so. Yeah. And exit at the first profit, and then you've made a few cents.
Yeah, enjoy your pennies.
But I mean, you know, that's okay, okay, fine. That it's not that simple. Fine. That moment bar, make sure it's sometime within before power hour, I guess. And it'd be great if you had like GEX and DPs on your side too, but you just want something
And the
one-dimensional.
trend of the day.
And sure, sure.
Okay, well, it seems like we're winding down. Any other
Yeah.
questions?
Everybody left, but you know, like we got off to a rocky start, but I really came into this Q&A really ready to
I
get
know you're so
at
ready to
all.
go. That's why I'm
I'm
trying to
so ready
tell
to go.
people
Like, come at me
like
with all the questions.
yeah, now is the time to ask Tay your questions, guys, because Tay is smart and patient right now.
I'm smart and patient, and I know that like literally tomorrow people are going to ask some noob questions in the Discord. And I'm telling you,
Can
I
we
know.
ask theory questions?
Whoa,
Ask what?
hello?
Hey, it's Jonathan Alfonso. Can we ask theory questions?
Yeah, you can ask theory questions. Your mic's a little bit crackly, but sure, go ahead.
Yeah, hold on, let me get my headset then.
Yeah, everyone's complaining about Ben, which is really funny because this is Ben trying out for the job.
Oh, man.
Ben, you're fucking crashing and burning on your first day on the job. He couldn't even stay for the whole Q&A. This guy.
Oh, okay. We all win some and lose some.
It's okay. Ben has a thick skin because he's a Mormon missionary.
Mm. He's
He's
used to
he's
saying
he's
he's
used
used
to
to
having
rejection.
the door slammed in his face. I imagine his pitch goes something like, "Hello, would you like to learn about the Church of Jesus Christ and Latter-day Saints?" And before he can say the Latter-day Saints part, the door just gets slammed in his.
The payload bait? Yeah, so just ignore the dark green and red bars. Just focus on Momo flow, especially if you're new. Payload Bay was saying, can you please just answer earlier question about dark green bars and red bars? I read the guides, but it just said to ignore it. So yeah, new users, ignore it. Easy peasy. But the
So why
shadow bars are great.
why is he asking about if the guides say to ignore it?
Just, sometimes it's you want to triple, quadruple check that. Any other questions? I hope we.
Yeah, I'm back with my theory question.
Oh yeah. Hello.
So
That's much better.
earlier about when you brought up the HFTs. So is
Mhm.
the whole premise of the pink bars bidding against Momo basically because of how HFTs work? Basically, they're just front running orders, and because they're co-located within the like the Nasdaq and all that.
Wow, you sound a lot smarter over voice than over Discord. Over Discord, I feel like all you do is hug people. But
Hey, I gotta, I gotta make up for when you're mean because I gotta even it out. Big Short has been really helpful. So if you're mean to people, I gotta at least, hug them or you be the nice guy. Try to be the nice guy.
I appreciate that a
there's
lot.
got to be a good call. I think you should hug XG. He needs a lot of hugs.
Yeah,
I
Good
say
question.
I also think
everyone hug more.
some of the hate on XG, I think, was because of how he acted when, he said he was gonna sue you. I think there was a lot of that, and hopefully, we can just get over it. But I also, want to chime in on the other side, as you kind of came in here, kicked the door in, started talking about suing people, and we kind of didn't like that.
Yeah, now he's downgraded from suing me to talking about my own personal growth journey. He wants to be my spiritual shaman. But yeah, what you're saying, the Flash Boy stuff that you're saying, it was actually how I think about it too. And I don't know if it's correct. I mean, it is just theorizing, but I think it is correct. I think it's like it's like when there's such a surge of Momo flow that the HFTs like front run it and they get involved and they jack it up. And they jack it up by like firing a lot of small orders really quickly to drive up the price. And so I feel like I feel like if anything, when we get those smart flow bars, it's just like that added weight of two different kinds of orders. It's kind of like, excuse me, I'm burping. But the the it's funny. My girlfriend complains about me eating raw garlic, but she gave me some raw garlic today. Anyways, so the I think of it as the Momo flow is like the swordsman and the smart flow is like the archers, right? And if the swordsmen have the archer backup, then it like the enemy forces they like retreat more, but it might be more of a fake retreat or something. I don't know. That's kind of how I think about it.
More
Yeah,
MS Paint.
it was a lot helpful. It was very helpful after reading Flash Boys, and then your
Yeah.
interpretation of the Spartans really helped too.
Yeah, yeah. Flash Boys is where it's at. It's all a scam, and people don't want to believe it because they only like to believe things that re that they receive from intellectual authority. But it's all a scam, man. And Go was created by the same beings that created the leech lattice, which is not human beings.
Well, is that the end of that question? Seems like it.
Yeah, we have some more questions in the chat, Sarah.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. Everyone needs to Google leech lattice after this.
Sarah, you should Google it.
What
I'm
are
telling you, the leech lattice is incredible. It's part of the monster group.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm definitely going to Google it. Maybe not right
Google
now.
leech lattice monster group, and if you really want to have fun, Google like the Golay error corrections. So guys, like literally this this software engineer in like I think it was like the 1960s or something, he created these error correction algorithms, and these same algorithms were later discovered 50 years later as being part of the fabric of the universe. Mike Anthony, you've heard this before?
Yeah.
How do you know about this? I thought you're supposed to be dumb.
I can't unmute. So there.
You just muted yourself.
You muted yourself.
So this guy doesn't know how to use Zoom, but he knows about the goal error correction algorithms.
There
yes,
he
I
is.
know.
Hello.
Sorry. Yes, I've heard. I know just vaguely what you're talking about. That where he found the basically code in our physical universe here that suggests algorithms.
Yeah, yeah, and it's like it's a literally a binary algorithm too, which is bizarre. You'd think that if higher beings programmed the universe, they wouldn't have programmed it in binary, but it's there. So
Crazy. Well, let's maybe save these sort of fun floofy talks for the end because it
okay, any
looks like
tips
we
on how
still
to
have
trade
some.
the first hour after market open? Well, there's the first Momo bar strategy, first Momo bar strategy I talked about in one of the previous Q&As. But you see how the Momo bar is pointing down? You go long, easy scalp in the first 5 minutes of the day, if it's big enough. Make sure it's big enough. Is the Spartan's wall gear the whole Ninja Star theory or just the beginning of it? It's like the fundamental basics of the theory. There are some bells and whistles, such as such as like when the machine breaks, and I could get more into the detail of how the machine works, and yeah, there's definitely some extra color to it, but let me approach it from a different angle, from a fresh angle for you guys who are still patiently here.
Ooh, a little Easter egg for the patient people.
Yeah, half the participants have left already, but if you want to know the theory behind it, like just think about the fact that market makers, they post the bid and the ask, right? So when you buy, they're necessarily short, and when you sell, they're necessarily long, right? So they are literally inversing every single trade from every retail trader and every hedge fund, like every Bill Ackman type. They're literally inversing them, right? So how the fuck do market makers make money year after year? Just ask yourself that question and go down that path of thinking, because one would think that the entirety, the aggregate entirety of human intellect trying to make correct decisions about buying and selling stocks would yield some sort of result that if you inversed it, you would lose money. But that's not actually the case. Market makers make money way more easily and way more consistently than traders who actually are like doing the hard work of analyzing these companies and watching the news and all that stuff. So, so why is it that the people who are trying are losing money and the people who are just kind of passively accepting and taking the opposite side of the triers, why are those passive people the ones making the money? Just think about that. Think about that, and eventually you'll get to Big Short. Eventually you'll end up creating Big Short yourself in its entirety. Sarah, what are the two downsloping lines above the downtrend, not the Bollinger Bands?
So I think you mean these two lines.
Yeah,
So
one of them looks like the VWAP
one's
and the other
VWAP,
one's like
one's
gamma
gamma
gravity.
gravity. Yeah. And then the question about how to remove manipulation, it sounds like you're probably on the smart flow chart. If you can see manipulation, we recommend using the smart flow segregated chart. So this one will remove manipulation and also segregate out smart flow into smart flow and Momo flow. So this is a way more useful view, especially for new users.
And let me just address what El Juancho said about the front running. There is front running, and the front running is the easy arbitrage money, but there is a component besides front running. Like let's say that you're trading a penny stock and you're the only one that trades it for months, right? So let's say that you buy 1,000 shares of this penny stock, and then like literally the market maker is then short 1,000 shares of that penny stock, right? And let's say 3 months pass by, nobody ever trades it again, right? And that's not front running, right? What happens between then and the 3 months where no one is trading it, that's something else. And if let's say 3 months later, the market maker is just short just one more share, but there's no bid because no one's trading it. So the market makers, they're like, let's have this one share of this penny stock that El Juancho owns 1,000 shares of. Let's have that traded at like 1 cent. They could do that because there's no one, there's no one bidding it. And then of course the counter argument that these academic dumbass people will be like, yeah, but that you can't do that with liquid stocks. No, dude. No. The key point that they're missing is that, yeah, the stock market is big in the notional value of the assets it represents, but that is entirely uncorrelated to how much actual transaction takes place, right? Like, like it's like it's like if I'm in an Aladdin marketplace, if I'm in the market for cows, and everybody has a certain number of cows, and there's like these big cow herders with like thousands of cows, and then there's like these big, butcher shops who need to buy cows all the time, but only a very small portion of the cow market attends the marketplace, shows up to the marketplace in a given day, or in a given 5 minute period of time, or in a given hour. Okay, so everyone thinks this stock market is this huge multi-trillion-dollar place, but it's really not. It's a bunch of like the way that the powers that be hold on to stocks. It's like the way that the Bitcoin whales from 2009 are hodling their Bitcoin. It's like they fucking treat it like Satoshi Nakamoto, where they just hold it, right? So the price is entirely determined by this very small minority of people showing up to the marketplace and churning it back and forth between each other. And those people, they have a certain idea of what it's worth, but it could be entirely different from what Satoshi Nakamoto thinks it's worth. We just don't know Satoshi Nakamoto's opinion because his opinion isn't reflected in the trades because he doesn't trade. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Thanks, Dave.
When I use SF segregated chart and bring up historical price, how do I use that feature? It's very confusing. I'll let you take this one, Sarah.
What? SF segregated? When I bring up historical price, I never use this. What do I do? What is this? Oh. Okay, looks like it just shows you the last 5 days and you can see all the smart flow and Momo flow and dark pools and Gex. I don't know. I don't use this, but what is it that you find so confusing?
Are you sure that's what he even means by historical price?
I'm not sure.
Maybe he just means the calendar.
Is it this button that you're talking about, or is it this calendar feature? Mm-hmm. Oh, there's a button at the top. This button?
This button question mark?
Or you can talk. Yes. Okay. Yeah. So
Oh, he's talking about that one.
yeah.
I mean, that's just 5 days of normal 5 minute day data. So like
Yeah.
Sarah, why don't you make it smaller on the bottom and then just scroll so you can just show him what he's talking about. Yeah, so that's
Look,
just one.
it's today.
Yeah, it's today. And you can slide
And
it
look, it's
left and right.
today and yesterday.
That's yesterday. It's funny,
Da-da-da-da.
like we oscillate between these like intense philosophical discussions about the nature of the universe, and then guys that are like, how do I use historical price?
What is button?
What is button?
Where is button? Okay, cool. Any other questions? Okay, if everyone's done, y'all can talk about the lattice and the whatever big monsters.
Well, Michael Wilson, just first, we got one lever after you said that, Sarah. Michael Wilson, just
Unless you guys have more BigShort questions. It seems like the questions are drying up. Any more BigShort questions? You got full reign. We're all ears. And now, Tay's Kooky Corner. Get your tinfoil hats ready.
Michael Wilson, you have to start with the double slit experiment. That's the place to start. And let me just say that
Mike Anthony nodding.
yeah, when I was a kid, I went to a youth retreat with my church, and I questioned them when they were talking about how evil gay people were, and then they locked me in the wood cabin for the entire 2 weeks of the youth retreat, and they didn't even give me enough water.
Oh.
So for me to say, hey, I think there might be some kind of a higher intelligence here, it's not because of any bias that I grew up with. Okay. If anything, I should have a very anti-religious bias. But
Can I suggest? Oh, sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say I'll go wherever the science takes me, and I want to be a man of data and a man of science, and I want to be someone who's capable of reaching his own conclusions about things without deferring to what somebody else tells me, and that's what I was kind of alluding to in the Day Trade channel today, where I believe that it's learning about the nature of the universe and learning about the nature of human emotions, about these natural things, or learning about lightning. This is an entirely different subject. There should be an entirely different method to approach that subject versus things like chess or computer programming, things that are created by men. Because like in computer programming, like you somebody decided that you declare a variable by typing var space and then the variable name and then the equal sign and then assigning it the assignment operator, and it's all this arbitrary stuff. Like who's to say that the equal sign should be like this instead of like this or something, right? Like that's an arbitrary symbol created by human beings. And the same way in chess, the knight, it moves two spaces forward and one space left or right, and that's an entirely arbitrary human convention. And when it comes to those things, of course you should defer to the intellectual authority. Of course you should go and ask like, hey, guy who created this, or a guy who learned from 10 generations from the guy who originally created this, how does this work? Absolutely. But when it comes to things that people either A, don't understand, or B, have an incentive to not teach anybody, such as stock trading, then you absolutely need to approach it from a situation of your own reasoning. So live trading video, don't have Ben narrate, just Ben his heart is in the right place. Do you bring up both SPY and QQQ and BigShort for correlation when you trade SPY? No, I just do SPY and Ultraflow, but I used to do SPY and QQQ too, back when I was like really serious about trading. But I mean, like these days, I'm not that serious. I just trade here and there whenever I feel like it. And yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I'm the same. I feel like ever since there was a time when I was trading more, when I would look at QQQ, but now that we have sim search, I just look at sim search.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other questions? The payload bay.
And let me add something to the natural versus man-made subject. Like if you look at the history of human beings studying and trying to understand the natural world, humans get it like so bad wrong. We thought the earth was flat, we thought the sun rotated around the earth, and then we're like, okay, we were wrong, but now the sun is the center of the universe. And they thought that you know, they thought lightning was caused by Zeus, right? So if you just defer to the priest of Zeus on how lightning works, you're going to get it wrong. And more importantly than getting it wrong, you're not going to have any edge. You're not going to have any opportunity for profit if what you think is the same as what everybody else thinks. So you have to have some sort of different kind of thinking in order to profit. And thankfully that's really easy to do because human beings are really fucking stupid and they'll just like even if they know better, like the grandmas playing the slot machines in Vegas every day, like they know deep down that they're going to lose money, but they still do it. And to beat those people is really easy. Stocks is harder, of course, because money flows towards, you know, generally speaking, money flows towards money managers who are some combination of competent at managing money and competent at selling their services and getting people to give them money. So some kind of combination of salesmanship and money management ability. So if you really want an edge, you need to look for somebody who is displays the qualities of being competent at money management, but also the qualities of not being a very good salesman. And this, I think, is where XG gets it wrong. See, Mike Anthony's laughing because he knows where I'm going with this. Like, like if I were a nice guy, like XG wanted me to be, if I had done my personal growth, I can guarantee you, I would not be sitting here with you guys. I would be an ENTJ. I would be Steve Jobs. I would be rallying people to my cause. I would have like 10 engineers, way more competent than Andrew, building out my systems. And I'd be running Renaissance Technologies. I'd be running the Medallion Fund. I'd be Jim Simons. Okay. But I'm not because of this one character flaw. And so I hope that you guys can really appreciate that I have this character flaw, without which Big Short would not exist. So,
Yeah,
so every
XGX, GX, Tay's loss is your gain.
exactly. And I think it's really silly to like get upset at other people's flaws because other people's flaws are always your gain. There's people that complain about stupid people like, oh, that guy's so stupid. Well, be glad that he's stupid. If everyone was smarter than you, you'd be the bottom rung of society. You know? If everyone was if everyone was nice, if Tay was fucking nice, then Tay would be a fucking billionaire.
It was Tay's quote unquote flaw that attracted me. It was one of the first Q&As that I'd listened to, and I was like, this guy doesn't give a shit. He is just telling his absolute truth, and I completely believe every single thing. He's just being absolutely himself, and I trusted that, just immediately. So, and just one quick thing for Michael Wilson, just to go back to the double slit thing really fast. If you haven't read the book The Fabric of the Cosmos by Brian Greene, it's a really great introduction for like lay people about what the double slit shows us and tells us. And Tay, are you familiar with the delayed choice aspect of that experiment?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
like retro
I was
causality.
even, yeah. I was even thinking like, should we just put an animal inside of a box where there's no information that can leak out, and then we can just have the animal observe the sound that's triggered by the delayed choice, and then we kill the animal, and then is the information destroyed? Like there's all kinds of weird shit like that. But I mean, generally speaking, the prevailing thought is that consciousness is not required to elicit the the particles, um, the interference pattern. Yeah. So that's just a little bit of a goofy experiment I had. Michael Wilson's raising his hand. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
we're beyond that
Do I
portion of
just tap to speak and I can speak?
Yeah,
yeah.
go
Yeah.
ahead.
Oh, okay.
Things
Gotcha.
are
I didn't
things
know if
are
I need to
chill
raise my
now.
hand or what.
Yeah,
Okay,
no,
cool.
things are very chill
Just
now.
interrupt now.
Yeah,
There's
no.
there's
What,
only
what,
22 people here.
okay, well, what was that book that you were talking about called again? Anthony.
It's the fabric of the cosmos. It's by Brian Greene, who's an astrophysicist. He teaches at Columbia. He's really great at explaining these ridiculously complex concepts to people like me who like as I told Tay in a DM at one point, I was gonna be a high school science teacher until I got to like calculus, and I thought, well, I just do not have the brain. I do not have Tay's brain, but I'm still fascinated by the concepts. And yeah, The Fabric of the Cosmos. He also wrote a book called The Elegant Universe. Both of them are fantastic and will completely blow your mind. Like Brian Greene says, if your mind is not blown by this information, you're not really grasping this information.
All right.
Okay, so
Do you guys?
let me just
Yeah,
fast
go
forward
ahead.
to super kook land. Okay, like let's all put on our tinfoil hats. I'm going to drop the bomb on you guys. Okay, you know how like some people have like past lives. Like people are reborn and they think that they were like World War II fighter jet pilot, or they were like literally Anne Frank from the Diary of Anne Frank. I think that's real. And I think that's real. And I also think that the Mandela effect is a result of the way memory is allocated in the simulation, in the machine that runs the simulation of this universe.
I was
Very
doing
good.
working on a documentary about that. These kids who have, and I have a lot of contact with kids who actually have these memories. Are you familiar with Jim Tucker by any chance? The University of Virginia, the Division of Perceptual Studies. We
Yeah, and
went
he
to interview
he
him.
like his work is like
I'm not.
he was the chair of the department at University of Virginia, and his work is it was rigorous, and it was rigorously testing like thousands of data points of of falsifiable information, right? So this is like real science. It's not like theory and speculation.
As Dr. Tucker would say, like, yeah. So Michael, yeah, he's the chair of the Division of Perceptual Studies at the University of Virginia. He's still there, and he was carrying on the work of oh my God, I'm forgetting the guy who founded the department. But anyway, you could not be more rigorous. And Dr. Tucker says, I asked him, I was like, why isn't this mainstream? Why doesn't everyone know about this? This seems so clear cut that something is actually here. And he said it's just because most people do not know the information exists, and that scientists or any thinking rational person who actually goes there and actually looks at the data cannot help but come away and say, okay, I don't understand some aspect of the universe because these children, without question, some of them are verifiably remembering things they should not have any way to know.
Yeah, and I'd like to speak to that point too, which of like why people don't know. Because I mean, it takes a long time for knowledge to filter from the creators of the knowledge down to the common lay people. Like even after it was discovered that the Earth that the sun did not rotate around the Earth, it wasn't an accepted belief for like a while. I think it wasn't common knowledge for like 100 years or something, because it's just these fucking Galileos and Isaac Newtons and the ivory towers that know it. And and I think a big reason for that is because of like the big it's like in the middle of the bell curve, there's that fat like middle part of the distribution, and it's like that meme where the middle part is the Redditors, right? The Redditors are like the knowledge wall. You know how we have call walls and put walls in BigShort? Then the Redditors are the knowledge wall. So they are like the watchers of the wall that prevent that prevent new correct knowledge from flowing to the masses. And and I mean, it's just people people have like I don't know what it is, but it's like this neckbeardy thing of like wanting to look smart and like trying to protect their entrenched view of the world. But people really are human beings have a very strong anti-truth proclivity. And that anti-truth proclivity is extraordinarily profitable in the
Do you
markets.
do you guys ever study epistemology? It's the study of how we know things and how we know like things to be true, and like whether there's like a an objective truth or if truth is all relative and it's just what you make it.
Yeah, yeah. But I am speaking to you as a mere three-dimensional being that is doing his best to uh, make money and feel good and put food. So that's the limit of like it's like I know that there is a world beyond that,
Right.
but for me right now in this simulation, it's I have to operate as though there's a truth and I have to operate in pursuit of the truth because it's simply the best I can do. Even if there's
But
no
why though? But why?
for the same reason why a bacteria eats and spreads in the petri dish. You know, I'm literally a bacteria in the petri dish.
So you're just goo man that just arose from the goo and just you know formed into who you are today, and you're just a bag of walking chemicals, and there's no more to be said than that.
No, quite the opposite. I think
Quite the
that
opposite. Okay.
I think that I exist outside of this universe. I think that my consciousness exists outside of this universe. Um, and there's some quantum shit going on.
The evidence for that is getting to the point of being overwhelming and paradigm shifting. I mean, I think we're getting closer to that point. Another thing I am very involved in are people who have near death experiences, people who have
Mm-hmm.
gone into cardiac arrest, for instance. Some of them during an operation under general anesthesia, which means they should not be able to have any experience of any kind, subjectively, and yet some of them have critical experiences where they
Oh
they
yeah,
say
yeah,
they
definitely.
yeah. So I mean, there's just multiple lines of evidence that the double slit experiment is pointing towards a greater truth, and that consciousness is fundamental rather than being some sort of epiphenomenon of the brain's activity.
So so yeah, I mean what Mike Anthony is saying is that our consciousness exists outside of time and space. To answer El Juancho's question, we got someone leaving right after I said that. They're like, "Fuck this shit, I'm out of here." Anyway,
Bunch of kooks.
yeah, these people are fucking crazy. I'm canceling my subscription. But to answer El Juancho's question about the Bernstein Bears, like that could be a misprint. But if you look up the fruit of the loom cornucopia, then you get actually a lot of artifacts of evidence of this cornucopia that that supposedly never existed. We have like old newspaper articles from like, from before 1980, and we have even the original trademark filing still at the USPTO, US Patent Office. Go look it up. Go look up the actual filing for it and you'll see that the original Fruit of the Loom logo application, it included a cornucopia. It literally says it was supposed to have a cornucopia, which means that in this universe, the executives at Fruit of the Loom, they considered using that logo, but at the last minute they switched and they used the logo without the cornucopia. And this was like 100 years ago. This was like, I think, in the 1910s or 1920s or something that they filed this trademark application. Or actually, I don't know. Maybe I'm talking out my ass. Maybe it's like 1940. But anyway, this is a long ass fucking time ago, way before any of us were born. And yet, and we have, and there are so many accounts in social media of people remembering having this very specific conversation with their parents about learning the word cornucopia because of that Fruit of the Loom logo, because it's such a unique and strange word. You don't really have a reason to learn that unless you see the logo and you point to it and you ask your mom, hey, what's that? And your mom says, well, that's a cornucopia. And so
I remember it.
yeah, so
Really? You remember it.
I remember the
I
cornucopia
don't
for sure.
I don't remember anything.
yeah. In conjunction, and you know, Sui remembers it too in the chat.
Yeah.
In conjunction with
And Kazam. Yeah, go ahead, sorry.
Shazam, and in conjunction with all this firsthand account, you know, firsthand eyewitness evidence, we also have literally the imprint artifacts that predate our birth, such as the original trademark filing, and and if you assume that this world is a simulation being run on a computer, which Mike Anthony and I do, then you start to think about how the computer stores data, and our modern computers, they don't store data perfectly. Like you can recover data after you delete it, for example. And and even in JavaScript, there's something called like garbage collection, where you have to uh, well, either you depending on the programming language, either you manually clean up unused variables, or the compiler or whatever, it automatically searches for those unused variables and deletes them. But yeah, there's if we are a simulation running on a computer, then there are definitely other simulation iterations of the simulation that potentially have been run or are running on this computer, and and uh, and yeah.
So then do you believe like the I don't know, sort of it's called like the blind watchmaker theory, that some kind of entity or some kind of thing is kind of running things, but you don't know exactly what that is or who that is, and you're just in this quote unquote simulation, and we're just, you know, all a bunch of code and running in this simulation that like only we can kind of make sense in our sort of finite
the
finite
watchmaker
view.
the watchmaker theory was like a Christian theory that I heard when I was a kid, and I never found
Yeah.
it particularly compelling, which is just that if something is
I
beautiful
was
enough,
just using that as an example. I like just to like make sense. Like there's some force to like that's doing something that's making everything run as it should. There's inputs of energy in the universe, and things are supporting, you know, like upholding itself according to certain laws and physics and such and so forth.
yeah, but I think you're talking about it ass backwards is my point. Like just the existence of something beautiful doesn't mean that an intelligent sentience created it, but it's more that we should instead frame it based on our own understanding of ourselves, because we're only a data point of one, and like Elon Musk and whoever's, you know, and
But that's, I mean, that's what the presumption that there is such a thing as beauty. Like, I mean, someone could call pedophilia ugly, another person can, you know, call it ugly or call it beautiful. And like, I mean, from my stance, and probably from everyone on there, pedophilia is disgusting and like an evil.
right. So just forget the ugly, beautiful thing and just look at the data point of us, which is that we are creating simulations and we are creating video game worlds. And so the only, the most like Occam's razor, we have to assume that other intelligent beings will create simulations.
Right.
And as long as that is the path of intelligent civilization development, then that means that there's a whole lot of simulations there. And I think that is a much better mathematical proof of or mathematical
Yeah.
support for the theory.
But doesn't intelligence beget other intelligence? Like, I mean, like for example, we got AI, we like made it, and then now the AI is generating information and like, be getting other information, I guess. Like there's a force that's being imposed upon it that's by another intelligence that's imposing it upon the other. And it's not just a sense of, just random ambiguity. There's code, there's a sense of order and organization. And it means something. Otherwise, like, we wouldn't be able to like operate in the world where like things in a practical sense don't mean anything from day to day, and everything's just like, like whatever we make it out to be, just because like the social construct is like, oh, 1 + 1 = 2. So all right, like if a bunch of people say, oh no, now 1 + 1 = 3, like that's just like, I don't know, kind of rambling a bit, but like to me,
My ass is way too big. I think my ass is a
look,
bad split. Digging deep in
it's
my
big
back door.
concepts, big
My
concepts.
cheeks are
It's hard
gonna
to
be
think.
so sore.
Is it what does this relate to the whole monster thing? What were you talking about? Monster group, Tay?
Yeah, you just Google it. It's
I'll
getting way
Google it.
too complex, and I think we've taken up
yeah,
enough.
I'll definitely look it
Okay.
up and stuff like that. I love looking up
Sounds good.
science and stuff like that.
Well, that
But
was
yeah,
fun.
but I mean the leech lattice, that is like very similar to Go, you know? Like the rules of Go were made by non-human beings. And that's why Go is such a beautiful game.
I'm a 16K.
Oh, good. Keep going.
I'll try. Boring. All right. Well, thanks for sticking around to everyone who's still
Yeah.
here. This is a cute little chit chat.
Yeah, no, well,
Just to respond to what
chatting
Matt
about science and
said, math does exist. Math is like the most real thing there is. And it's, I think my seventh grade math teacher once said, math is the language in which God wrote this universe. At the time, I'm like, what the fuck? Get that religious bullshit out of here. But now,
everyone's a religious person, whether you say that don't believe in religion, like you have a philosophy toward the universe and how, whether that's agnostic, atheist, Christian, Muslim, you have a certain way that you operate. You operate to, the desires of your own heart and how you want to see things and how you want to interpret things. And like you said that you came from a Christian background and that you said something about being locked up in like a locked up somewhere for saying something about gay people, or
yep. But you know what? I think, I'm starting to devise how to run a meeting in a formulaic, systematic way. And I think one of the important parts of running these Q&As well is to give people a time limit on how long that they can speak. Because if they could just speak indefinitely, then they just take over the entire Q&A.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
No. I'm at this point.
We know you
At
have
this
good
point, it's
I
intentions,
thought we were
but
just. I thought I was chit chatting. If anyone has any other questions and stuff that they want to ask, like. I don't mean to.
Sarah, Shahab is asking a question about Big Short, which is actually what this Q&A is about.
How would I contact James, the user that trades ES futures and he uses Big Short to help me? I would probably just say in the Discord, James. I'm not
I
sure
don't know
what
what
his
he's talking
handle
about.
is.
The only James that I know is Gangly James from when we were living at Corinth.
There was a James that was talking this uh in this Zoom meeting earlier, but I don't know who well, I don't know what their handle is. Did you get my question about, oh, what is a negative gamma environment?
I have no clue, the payload bay, but you can ask ChatGPT and it'll explain it for you. And it'll probably say something along the lines of about how like moves, volatility moves are like accelerated or some shit like that. Who the fuck knows? You know? I don't really know. I just look at the lines on the chart and I'm like, oh, this means I should buy. This means I should sell. I'm not a very intellectually curious person, as you could tell. I'm an anti-intellectual.
Anti-intellectual. All right, well, thank you so much for joining, guys. I'm on the fence about posting this. Do you guys think I should post this? Was this helpful?
I think I think you could edit it down and post it. There's like a lot of funny parts. The beginning is really boring though.
Yeah, I might edit out like the first half hour. Just
Yeah.
when it was like really slow and no
Like what
questions were really being asked.
once Ben Simpson left and after XG got done airing his gripes about me, it got really good and it got kind of back to the normal vibe of what the Q&As are with me. Except this time I have unlimited energy and unlimited and yet nobody wants to take advantage of that. And they will ask me questions tomorrow. I know it.
Of course, they're gonna wait for you to not be in a good mood and be like, actually,
Wait for my meds to wear off.
yeah. Okay, yeah, I think I will post it, but I'm gonna cut a lot of the beginning. I think just once it starts to kind of flow in terms of the questions and the answers, I'll figure it out.
Alan, we answered your question in the beginning.
Oh, Alan was walking his dog.
Oh, he's saying don't edit out his. I see what he's saying.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thanks, guys. Sarah used to do your little sign
Okay,
off.
Alan, can you just DM me on Discord what your question was? And then I'll when I'm editing through, I'll keep that part. Thank you. All right, guys. Well, thanks so much for attending and hope this was helpful in understanding more about Big Short. And we'll see you guys in the Discord.
Oh, thanks, Sarah. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.